Hello and welcome to a new series of Bits.
Yep, we're back.
We'll be kicking ass on the PC front
and getting cyber mental with internet lowdowns.
So sit back, relax and enjoy the ride.
This week we'll be burning rubber with Rally Masters, genetically mutating in Evolver and becoming Lord Almighty in black and white.
In the beginning, there was a group of dudes from Laguna Beach, California. They spent their days wearing tie-dye t-shirts, smoking weed, and playing Quake. Inevitably, they began fantasizing about babies in diapers, wielding pump guns, and inhabiting human beings. Thus, unto the world, they begat Messiah. Bob the Angel was born in 1997. He can only be the product of drug-fueled insanity. It helps that his parents are the people who created that cheeky annelid earthworm Jim and the phenomenally beautiful Murder, Death, Kill. In a slight twist to the Frank Capra Yuletime It's a Wonderful Life, an angel heads down to Earth to stop us from killing each other by killing people. Satan's in cahoots with the genetically mutated faction called the Keepers, who are keen on sex, violence, and subhuman cloning. The God Guy's stuck in left field, and he wants back in center stage. So he sends his convoy down in the form of a po-faced incontinent white kid with wings. Enter Bob, a warrior in cherub clothing. Get the congressman on the phone, this little baby's packing. Bob's not a popular guy on the ground. Everyone, except for radiation workers, prostitutes, and lackeys, wants to kill him. With a dirty diaper to protect him from the onslaught of bullets, flying spears, and assorted zap things, he better get himself some armor. Bob's only protection from mortal casualty is to don the suit of man by taking possession. Through his host, he can access levels and information and run amok, causing mayhem. Similar but more successful in practice than David Bowie's No Man's Soul, Messiah allows Bob to integrate with anyone who crosses his path. Messiah is part role-playing game, part action-adventure, mostly personality complex. However, the depth of gameplay is astounding as you can actually solve puzzles in expansive environments in any way you see fit. Sometimes it might be better to be Buffalo Bill and don a disposable skin. Other times, the task calls for a bit of winged interaction. The puzzles are relatively straightforward. If you see a lever, pull it. If you need a commander to access a gate or enter a certain situation, go find the one of 40 wandering characters that fits the bill. Look around and push action a lot. If you do find yourself in a room with no apparent way out, put sniper vision on and see what lights up your fire button. Once you've sorted out the conundrums, you can zip through the game without much hindrance, except for defusing the occasional Quake-style ambush. In that respect, the game is pretty linear, but be warned, if you're noticed leaving the corporal, you're a sitting duck, and it's incredibly difficult to control re-entry. Regardless, this is a game that keeps you coming back for more, if only to inject yourself into a prostitute for a while, or make your ears bleed from the subtle tunes of notorious self-promoted playboy Tommy Tallarico and his Fear Factory. Group therapy may be the only thing keeping Messiah from excommunication, but alas, there is no multiplayer. Nevertheless, the extremely clever Messiah landed on your PC last Friday. Whether you want to keep an eye on baby in the next room, host a video conference with some business colleagues, or get in touch with a long-lost friend, what you need is a webcam.
You can use them to do pretty much anything, and with so many around, we thought we'd trawl through what's on offer and give you the lowdown on what's best.
First up, the Intel PC camera.
It's dead simple to set up because of the specially designed create and share software. So after only a couple of minutes of wearing, I was online and on camera. The picture is crystal clear and the automatic light balancer really helps. There's just one thing. The time delay here is longer than taking a trip to Ibiza.
But it looks like a Smurf. I can't imagine any of the big wigs from the big city buying low and selling high with one of these things strapped to his laptop. And don't get too excited about the virtual reality games either. Unless you're stuck to your BBC Acorn, I doubt any of these things will float your boat.
Next up is Creative's Video Blaster Webcam Go!
What's different about this one is that you can detach it from your PC and use it as a digital camera. You can also slip it into its handy pouch and strap it on next to your mobile phone, making you look that much more important.
Unlike Intel's camera, Creative are kind enough to include this handy microphone. So once everything's been installed, you can be singing karaoke with the rest of the world. However, I did find it harder to set up and use. And let's face it, it looks like a dog.
And finally, the Logitech QuickCam Pro.
It was the only one which came with a clamp rather than double-sided sticky tape, so you can attach it anywhere without needing a tube of super glue.
The picture is crisp and the cord is long, which means you can move around a fair bit. However, look at the microphone you get. Wear one of these while you phone a friend, and they may think you're doing a Britney Spears impression.
With Creative's dog coming in at 120 quid,
Intel Smurf hitting the 70-pound mark, we think you'll get the best value for money from the Logitech QuickCam Pro, coming in at 80 smackers.
if you want to see webcam voyeurism at its best, then log on to Bravo TV's homepage at www.bravo.co.uk and click on The Doll's House. You'll get to see 3 ladies in their abode going about their everyday business, kind of like the Truman Show, only this time the girls are in complete control over what you see and what you don't. I caught up with Chantel, one of the 3 dolls, and got the lowdown on what it's like having thousands of strangers watching you 24 hours a day, every day.
So, how does it feel to have your life invaded by 5 different camera angles 24 hours a day?
We are totally 100% comfortable with the cameras now.
Really?
You're not aware of them. When you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you know the camera's there. No sex, no drugs on camera. We often have a lot to drink and get pissed and do lots of silly things. Naughty things have happened accidentally.
So have you had any obsessive fans, any weird requests or strange emails?
Most of the time people are very tame, very nice. We have regulars that come on and talk to us the whole time, and they become as much a part of our lives as they do their lives. But you do get freaks, as you do in all walks of life. And there has been a guy emailing me recently asking me for my old smelly shoes, which is something which I find a bit too freaky. Whatever you do, you're going to attract freaks in all walks of life. You never know. That guy there, for example.
How many hits does your site get?
Okay, at the moment we have between 8 and 10 million hits a month.
Now, talking about the actual site, I noticed that when I logged on, the refresh rate was rather slow.
Right. At the moment, you've got a video image. It captures every 20 seconds a still picture. But very soon, we're having streaming audio video. We're going to be pioneering the software. It's going to be absolutely fab. So you'll be seeing things live as they happen in real time. That should be great.
So you haven't got to wait 20 seconds for someone to, like,
it's going to be brilliant.
cut their toenails.
Live as it happens, as fast as it happens, when it happens. There's 3 of us who live there. We've got 3 permanent dolls. And we have a guest room where someone comes to stay.
Dolls.
Dolls. And the guest comes and stays for 1 month at a time.
Wow.
So if you're interested, you want to come and stay with me?
I'd love that.
You can be a guest dolly.
I can be guest dolly. Hey, it's me TV.
So you're pissed off again. Boss, partner, sibling, doing your nutting. Won't get off your case. And all you want is a bit of peace and quiet. Well, lock yourself into the bedroom with this baby and wreak all the revenge you want. Yes, take it out on the little people who can't do anything against you. Because in this game, you are God. Long live black and white.
Enter a pagan world. You are a fledgling deity who stumbles upon people in need of direction and divine intervention. The storyline introduced to you by a little fairy and devil helpers will guide you to evolve as a holy being to these people, offering you opportunities for great kindness or cruelty, as is your wont. They take to you like an Irishman to Guinness and get drunk on your power. They will build you temples to worship you and bring you items of great value. The more they believe in you, the more powerful you become. But they can also get belligerent if you're too nice, and die off too easily if you're too evil. As you develop as a god, you learn that it's all a matter of balance. There are no real right or wrong moves here. In black and white, everything you do is your prerogative. Unlike any other god game before it, the interface is simplicity itself, having been beautifully thought through. Your presence on this planet is seen only by a disembodied hand. Think thing from the Addams family. With this hand you can move around and interact with the people. It's a simple case of grabbing onto the terrain and pulling yourself to your destination. There are no complicated menus to pull down and run through every time you want to do something. You're also given access to spells to help you. If the little sods have pissed you off, there's always an electromagnetic village flattening storm to hand. A great way to de-stress.
As the supreme being, you get the best view of this beautifully detailed environment. You can look down from way on high on your little people, or you can go in so close that you can even see a worm eating an apple.
To help you govern your flock, you're given certain tools. These include a creature, which villagers lead you to early in the game. Initially, it relies on copying you for its morality, and it's up to you to teach it right or wrong. You can also discipline it. If it's bad, slap it, and if it's good, give it a pet. And if you're a perv, you'll be pleased to know that it even responds to having its privates tickled. As you raise your creature, it becomes as individual as you. When you feel you're both ready, you can take it online to meet other creatures. Although Peter Molyneux's latest promises almost absolute freedom and omnipotence, it's actually comparable to a sophisticated war strategy game. You're given a land to rule over as a god, but you're not alone. This is a pagan time and gods are plentiful. You have to lead your people into believing in you and revering you, be that through a rule of terror or kindness. And ultimately, you have to beat the other gods into submission and become the supreme god, the Lord Almighty.
How you rule over your people is up to you, but expect all your decisions to have an effect on the world. This is a beautiful, expansive game that has been thought through to the minutest detail, and I, for one, can't wait to play it when it comes out in September. Ooh.
Join us after the break for some serious genetic mutations.
Driving you're into, then check out what's coming up in 2000.
Total Death Rate is set in a post-apocalyptic future where enforced segregation keeps the underclass of deformed walking dead from straying into the remaining paradise. Unlike the previous two games, you can now customise your cars as well as the pedestrians. Nothing like making your road rage personal, eh? So, if you're up for a bit of hate culture and have a problem with authority, then unleash your anger with TDR 2000, out to buy in June. If you want a graphically and imaginatively superior game involving stealth, shooting action and puzzle solving with the most acidically strange content, then get MDK2. Be warned, this game is tough.
Rally Masters is the latest in a long, long line of driving games. This is your chance to go bumper to bumper with the greatest drivers the sport of rallying has ever seen.
Last year we gave you a brief rundown on Rally Championship 99, simply the most realistic rally game to date, anally tweaked down to the anatomical detail of the engine. Thankfully, Rally Masters doesn't get quite so hung up on the audio, although it's certainly there and pretty grating it is too. No, Rally Masters is more of a player's game. Having pipped Colin McRae 2 to the shelves, Rally Masters takes a different turn to the blockbuster that actually helped popularise the real sport. In fact, netheads, there are dozens of sites devoted to rally games, but very few dedicated to the real sport. Can Rally Masters really compete with the undisputed champion looming large on the horizon? Luckily for them, Colin McRae 2 has been postponed until the summer. Those with twitchy fingers will be pleased to know that Rally Masters is the only one that gives you the opportunity to pit your finger-fumbling skills against the real legends.
The 30 drivers come from all over the world and feature past masters as well as some of the familiar names that populate the sport today. Now, the US is severely underrepresented, but perhaps that's because they don't give a toss about rally driving. But then that comes as no surprise when you see the track that Digital Illusions have built for them. Oi!
No skidding through dusty roads down the Grand Canyon here. The US track is an indoor affair. Granted, it's a big one. Size evidently matters. But it ain't pretty, and because of the niggly, tight little corners, it's a tricky one at that. If you're more of an outdoor driver, the other tracks will be more to your taste. Take in the sun in Gran Canaria or Indonesia, or test your mettle in the snow-ridden Sweden. If lush rolling hills are more your thing, trip down to the UK. Rally Masters has got it pretty much covered when it comes to different terrains and weather conditions. All the elements are in there, decent graphics, different viewpoints, lots of circuits, famous names, multiplayer and online capability, but it doesn't really add up to anything special. As one not overly fond of tinkering beneath the bonnet, however, I have to admit that I quite like their version, where your mechanics are only allotted a certain amount of time to fix up the car you just trashed. You have to choose where they should spend their time most fruitfully, but it's a sad day when this is the highlight in a game.
This game lacks any real sophistication, although it promises so much. It was fun, but as is so often the case, not the drive of my life.
If you're looking for something a little more depraved than the somewhat pedestrian Rally Masters, then log on to the Houston Roadkill site at www.houstonroadkill.com. Here you'll find regular postings of all the latest pets that have just been flattened. And if you're wondering what happens to roadkill, then take a butcher's at flash.net/tilde/rockwave/chili.html, where you'll find a recipe for Ted's original Texas roadkill chili. But be warned, it's so hot it'll make your eyes sweat.
Here's a quick rundown on some of the highlights in the world of console gaming. First, PlayStation 2 launches in Japan.
The Japanese are simply mad for their games. But why all the fuss? Did they really have to queue all night out in the cold and wet for a funny-looking little black box? But what could the lucky few expect when they got home? First up, Mahjong. This confusing set of dominoes is a memory-style game popular enough in real life. Other off-the-wall delights included A6, a title especially for train spotters. Another in the world of future sports mayhem is GQ World Soccer 2000, which suffers from cranky players and some dodgy animation. Finally, there's the car racing sequels. Where would Sony be without them? So, there you have it, the PlayStation 2. Some excellent games and some real doozies.
In-house developers at Sega have continued their string of arcade ports with their newest release, Sega Bass Fishing. Dreamcast has managed to effortlessly create gorgeous graphics. Just watch the ruckus as the fish try to escape. In its arcade mode, Sega Bass acts as a completely instant, gimmicky hour of fun, and it's a whole lot easier than the real thing.
Oh, a big one!
First it was in the arcades, then it was on PlayStation. Now Ridge Racer has at last arrived on your Nintendo. It's not got the depth of Gran Turismo nor the mentor factor of Colin McRae, but what it does have is lots and lots of uncomplicated drivage. There's even a pretty girl on the box. Box there.
What I'm about to show you will laugh in the face of Dolly the sheep. We're looking at a very bad dirt ground force and some very angry triffids. I give you Evolva. No, it's not a sim in gynecology, it's Darwin in his darkest hours.
Published by Virgin Interactive's Interplay, Evolver is a strategy shoot-'em-up with a twist for the PC, developed by the highly respected graphics company Computer Artworks. So, does it deliver? And just what is this crazy genetic mutation malarkey all about? Set way ahead in the future, you play one of 4 Geno Hunters, and it's your job to destroy a deadly alien parasite which has exploded onto a planet. Big, unfriendly, flea-like bugs are threatening to infect the galaxy by blowing the whole planet, so you guys are here to mutate and evolve into a squad of perfectly adapted fighting machines so as to match the parasite's armies and destroy them at their own game. You mutate your oafish squad by blasting various Starship Trooper-esque bugs into oblivion, and then cleaning up by grabbing every bit of leftover pulsating meat and absorbing their DNA strands, taking with you the best of what's left, resulting in super fat feet, lobster pincing paws, and spiky elbows, thereby adapting to the surrounding environment. It doesn't end here. Your most important mutations will be hoovering up and metamorphosing non-organic weapons and skills, such as flame and lightning throwers. With the variety of life on the planet, the possible character mutations are quite literally around the 1.5 billion mark, creating a potentially perfect mother of all organisms.
The learning curve is easy with a user-friendly interface as well as quick-to-learn controls. You play from third-person perspective, though the controls echo those of a first-person shooter.
4 windows at the bottom of the screen show you what your teammates are up to, illustrating whether or not you should be switching hunters. You can create individual commands or round the squad up to fight as one, much needed in alien combat. This is where the game acts on a much harder, more strategic level, and is something you need to exercise to appreciate the crux of the game. Once you've figured out the following basic useful tips, the game induces full-on adrenaline secretion with fantastic AI and a real sense of teamwork. You actually find yourself becoming sadly protective over the little guys. Here's a tip. Make sure you mutate the genos at the same time, thereby securing each geno with equal skills and weapons. Otherwise, as you progress through the game, you will end up with a Geno Hunter, which is more of a Geno Runt, composed of a rather pathetic mishmash of not very useful alien meat.
The objectives are pretty simple. Either find given destination or kill giant fleas. But it is harder to exercise the much-needed strategy and combat skills whilst playing such a pacey, pretty game. Evolver is out for your PC in May.
From interstellar shoot-em-ups to crime-related stealth-em-ups, here's Bit's roundup of the top 5 releases this week. Number 5 is Hang Sim. If you can be bothered flying anything less than Mach 3, then maybe you should check out Hang Sim and feel the rush of hands-on real flying. You get to try out everything from hang gliders to paragliders, sailplanes to microlights, all of which respond realistically to thermals, updrafts, and the British weather. If you fancy yourself a bit of an Icarus, then maybe you should check out the world's first true light aviation simulation, out now, courtesy of Wilco. At number 4 is Command & Conquer Worldwide Warfare. Sucking the series dry, this new Command & Conquer box set is crammed with all the add-ons and extras from this iridescent green favorite. Apart from the original blockbuster and its extra covert operations mission disc, you'll also get Red Alert and the extended Counter-Strike and Aftermath scenarios. Surrender is not an option. Out now, thanks to EA. At number 3 is Star Trek Armada. Part strategy, part shoot 'em up, and shaka with pointy ears, Star Trek Armada satisfies every space cadet's craving for interstellar combat. Choose between one of 4 races, all with lumpy foreheads, and pit your wits against the others as you utilize your full armory, add to your fleet, build stations, and make use of wormholes and nebulae to destroy the enemy. Particularly good if you want to kick online Klingon ass, Star Trek Armada is out now, a la Activision. At number 2 is Theocracy, a great concept. You've got 100 years to build up the strongest Aztec empire possible. But be warned, it's got to be tough enough to defeat the onslaught of 16th century Spanish conquistadors. Forge strong trade links with other principalities, or just beat them into submission and grow in numbers. The strategy is up to you. Unless you succeed, all your gold will be plundered, and the only thing left of the Aztecs come the 21st century are tacky airport souvenirs. Theocracy is available to buy now from Ubisoft. And at number 1 this week is Thief 2: The Metal Age. You won't get too far in this game wearing a stripy jumper and carrying a big black bag labeled swag. Those of you who rushed out to get Thief: The Dark Project will already know about sneaking around and avoiding the medieval old Bill. This sequel gives you more missions, more tools, and craftier coppers to outwit. Better than getting lifted for the real thing, Thief 2 is out to buy now, courtesy of IDOS. It's competition time.
And this week, the makers of Need for Speed Porsche 2000 are offering one viewer the chance to burn rubber on a racetrack.
You will experience all the thrills of the